Ever notice how some people can turn a perfectly good day into a drama-filled disaster? It's like they have a PhD in chaos creation. Toxic relationships can be exhausting and frustrating with the constant manipulation. Today we're going to earn our own degree in toxic relationship management and put an end to the constant scheming. 1. The hidden cost of toxic relationships. We're about to explore why actions speak louder than words when dealing with toxic individuals and how you can protect yourself. The emotional toll of toxic relationships can be overwhelming. You might find yourself constantly second-guessing your own feelings, walking on eggshells, or feeling drained after every interaction. But what if there was a way to navigate these challenging dynamics more effectively? Have you heard of the ABCDE problem-solving model? This powerful tool can help you manage toxic relationships by breaking down your experiences into 5 key components: activating event, beliefs, consequences, decision, and evaluation. Throughout this video, we'll explore each step of this model and show you how it can transform your approach to dealing with toxic people in your life. 2. Identifying toxic behavior, the A in our model. Now that we've introduced the model, let's zoom in on that crucial first step, the activating event. Have you ever left a conversation feeling uneasy but couldn't quite explain why? Your intuition might be picking up on subtle signs of toxic behavior that your conscious mind hasn't fully processed yet. This is where the A in our model comes into play, helping us identify and understand these activating events. Recognizing toxic behavior early is crucial for protecting our emotional well-being. Common indicators include manipulation, lack of empathy, constant negativity, and the creation of conflicts. These behaviors can lead to emotional exhaustion and strain in relationships. It's important to note that toxic individuals often employ tactics that can be difficult to spot at first glance. One such tactic is playing the victim. Toxic people frequently position themselves as the perpetual victim in every situation, distorting the perceptions of those around them and shifting blame away from their own actions. This manipulation can make it challenging to address issues directly, as the toxic person always has a ready excuse or explanation that paints them as the wronged party. Another red flag to watch out for is gaslighting. This form of emotional manipulation occurs when someone denies your reality or experiences, making you question your own judgment and memory. For instance, they might say, "That never happened," or "You're just being too sensitive," when you bring up a legitimate concern. Emotional guilt tripping is yet another tactic in the toxic behavior playbook. This involves making you feel responsible for their emotions or well-being. They might say things like, "If you really cared about me, you would," or "You're the only one who can make me happy." It's crucial to trust your intuition when something feels off in an interaction. If you find yourself feeling drained, anxious, or confused after spending time with someone, it could be a sign that you're dealing with toxic behavior. Your gut feelings are often your first line of defense against harmful relationships. Research published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology suggests that people with manipulative tendencies often score high in narcissism and Machiavellianism. This indicates that toxic behavior often stems from deeper psychological issues. Understanding this can help us approach these situations with more empathy and less self-blame. Psychologist Daniel Goleman describes empathy as the ability to tune in emotionally with others. Toxic individuals often lack this capacity, which can lead to cold and superficial relationships. If you notice a consistent lack of empathy in someone's behavior, it might be a sign of toxicity. By learning to identify these activating events and toxic behaviors, you're taking the first step towards managing challenging relationships more effectively. Remember, recognizing these patterns doesn't mean you can change the other person, but it does empower you to make informed decisions about how you respond and interact. 3. Reframing your perspective, the B and C in our model. You've learned to recognize toxic patterns, but have you considered how your beliefs shape your reactions? Picture this. 2 people face the same challenging situation, yet one emerges unscathed while the other feels deeply hurt. The difference? It's all in their mindset. This is where the B and C components of our model come into play. Beliefs and consequences. Our beliefs about toxic behavior significantly influence how we respond emotionally. It's crucial to understand that often, toxic behavior reflects the insecurities of the person exhibiting it, rather than your own worth. This shift in perspective can be incredibly empowering. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It is not what happens to you that upsets you, but your judgment of what happens." This wisdom highlights the importance of reframing our interpretations of toxic behavior. By changing our beliefs, we can alter the emotional impact these interactions have on us. Let's explore some practical ways to reframe negative beliefs into more empowering ones. For instance, instead of thinking, "I must be doing something wrong," try shifting to, "Their behavior is not about me." This simple change can foster resilience and emotional strength. Consider the consequences of different belief systems. When we hold empowering beliefs, we're more likely to experience positive emotional outcomes. We become less reactive to toxic individuals, making their attempts to provoke us less effective. One technique that can help in this process is the gray rock method. This approach involves becoming less emotionally reactive to toxic individuals, essentially making yourself as interesting as a gray rock. By doing so, you reduce the satisfaction they might get from provoking you. It's also important to practice self-compassion. Remember, toxic individuals may be struggling with their own issues. Understanding this can help you maintain emotional distance and resilience. As the saying goes, forgiveness is a gift you offer to yourself, allowing you to release the burden of negativity and reclaim your emotional power. By reframing your perspective, you're not just changing your thoughts, you're changing your entire experience of toxic interactions. This shift allows you to focus on your emotional well-being, rather than getting caught up in toxic dynamics. Remember, this process takes time and practice. Be patient with yourself as you learn to apply these new perspectives. Each time you successfully reframe a toxic interaction, you're building a more resilient mindset. 4. Taking action. The D&E in our model. Building resilience is crucial, but it's only half the battle. What happens when you're face-to-face with toxic behavior and need to respond in the moment? There's a method that can help you not only survive these encounters, but come out stronger. Are you ready to discover how to take control of these challenging situations? Enter the D&E of our model, decision and evaluation. These final steps empower you to choose appropriate responses to toxic behavior and assess their effectiveness. It's about turning your newfound awareness into concrete action. Let's start with setting boundaries. Clear communication is key. When faced with toxic behavior, calmly express your limits. For example, you might say, "I understand you're upset, but I won't continue this conversation if you keep raising your voice." Then consistently enforce these boundaries. Remember, actions speak louder than words. The broken record technique can be particularly effective when dealing with manipulative individuals. This involves calmly repeating your position without getting drawn into emotional disputes. For instance, if someone is trying to guilt trip you into doing something you're uncomfortable with, you might simply repeat, "I appreciate your perspective, but this doesn't work for me." When dealing with constant criticism, try redirecting the conversation. Ask the person to provide specific, constructive feedback instead of general complaints. This approach can help shift the dynamic from negative to productive. For those who thrive on drama, the best strategy is often disengagement. Remember the gray rock method? Make yourself emotionally unresponsive to their attempts to provoke you. This doesn't mean ignoring them completely, but rather responding in a neutral, uninteresting way that gives them no emotional fuel. Self-care is crucial when dealing with toxic relationships. Prioritize activities that nurture your emotional well-being. This might include regular exercise, meditation, or spending time with supportive friends. Building a network of positive relationships can provide a buffer against the negativity of toxic interactions. Now let's talk about the E in our model, evaluation. After each interaction with a toxic individual, take time to reflect. What strategies worked? What didn't? How did you feel afterward? This reflection allows you to fine-tune your approach over time. It's also important to recognize when it's time to walk away from a toxic relationship. If you've consistently set boundaries and communicated your needs, but the other person shows no signs of change or respect for your limits, it may be time to prioritize your mental health and distance yourself. Remember, managing toxic relationships is a skill that improves with practice. Be patient with yourself as you implement these strategies. Each interaction is an opportunity to refine your approach and strengthen your emotional resilience. 5. Mastering the model. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by toxic interactions, wishing you had a roadmap to navigate them? This model offers just that, by identifying activating events, reframing your beliefs, understanding the consequences, making informed decisions, and evaluating outcomes. You're empowering yourself to handle challenging relationships more effectively. Remember, mastering this approach takes time and practice. Be patient with yourself as you apply these techniques in your daily life. Each interaction is an opportunity to refine your skills and build resilience. As you continue on this journey of self-awareness and emotional intelligence, keep in mind the words of Carl Rogers. The only path worth taking is the one that leads to being oneself. By staying true to your authentic self and implementing these strategies, you're paving the way for healthier, more fulfilling relationships.